us your thoughts on the main event between GSP and Hardy?
You know, I said after we watched the show, that the primetime show, that people don't realize how good Dan Hardy really was. Not only good, how tough this kid is. I mean, he was in an armbar and Kimura tonight that would have made a lot of guys tap. And I couldn't believe that he could still use both arms after, you know, getting out of both those submissions. He's a tough guy, and I don't think there was any secret. You know, Matt Serra said in the show too, George St. Pierre will not stand up with him. They'll keep going for takedowns, and we got to work on his ground game and make sure that he doesn't get stopped on the ground. And that's what happened. But they should have worked on his takedown defense.
On that topic of Dan's performance tonight, can you give a yardstick on just how far the Brits have come up in the world of UFC?
Yeah, I say this all the time. In 2002, when we did our first fight there at the Royal Albert Hall, there was literally almost no talent whatsoever in the UK for mixed martial arts. You know, now it's 2010, and there's tons of talented guys coming out, and one just fought the best 170-pounder in the world tonight and went 5 rounds with him. So that really goes to show how far MMA has come in the UK.
My question is for George. Leading into this fight, you described yourself as a martial artist, and you also said that Dan Hardy was not. Is there...
I changed my mind after the fight.
But would you describe anyone else in your division as a martial artist, a true martial artist?
It's a martial artist for me. It's somebody that brings the mentality of martial art into his everyday life. I'm a martial artist because I have a self-discipline and I have a respect that I bring in the everyday life. What I do it, and I'm also aware I have an impact on a lot of people. So the way I behave, it's related to the fundamental basic of martial art that I've been raised with.
But does all that help you in...
Hi. What do you think the future is now for Dan Hardy? Obviously,
I think Dan Hardy's got a great future. You know, like I said, he's got a big hole in his game, and that's his takedown defense. And you know, you see that a lot from the guys from England, because there's not a lot of wrestling over there. But you're going to see that change, I think, you know, over the next couple of years. But Dan needs to work on his wrestling. Look at Thiago Alves. Thiago Alves was a great striker. Then all of a sudden he showed up one day in the octagon and had this incredible takedown defense. So that's what Dan Hardy. When Dan Hardy fills that hole in his game, he's going to be very scary.
so going one stage further from that, if he can fill that hole in his game, can he be a world champion in the future?
I do think Dan Hardy can be a world champion. I think he proved that to everybody tonight. You know, not only does he have the skills, the talent, the knockout power, and but he's got the grit and the toughness, man. Let me tell you what, and I mean it, and there's other guys in that division that know it. A lot of guys would have tapped to the stuff that he got caught at tonight.
You spoke about Dan and maybe the reaction to the fight from the online community not being 100% positive. I think the British fans might feel a little bit differently about that. Do you think maybe to the US fans, Dan has shown what the Brits have kind of known for a while, that he has that kind of Sakuraba spirit, that he will not die? Do you think that came across to the fans?
Oh, no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Dan Hardy, you know, won over a lot of fans tonight. I guarantee you that. You know, he's a tough, durable guy. He, you know, he went 5 rounds with the best 170-pounder in the world. Yeah, he did. He definitely gained some fans tonight. And he found out where he's really at. You know, for a lot of guys, you'd think you go in and fight a guy like George St. Pierre and you lose, you know, you'll be down and bummed out. Actually, Dan Hardy's got a lot to be proud of tonight. He knows exactly where he stands in the 170-pound division. He knows what he needs to work on and what holes he needs to fill in his game. And I think tonight was a positive night for Dan Hardy.
And the wrestling hole aside, I mean, the story on the British guys has always been, oh, they got no ground game, like, period. But clearly...
I don't think anybody says that anymore. I don't think, you know, especially with Bisping and you know, even these guys that were strikers back in the day, Adam and all these guys that are coming out of the UK right now are good fighters. The biggest question with the guys from the UK is the wrestling. You know, there's just not a lot of strong wrestling over there. But a lot of them are coming over here to the States and bringing guys out to the UK. You're going to see that change over the next couple of years.